All right, welcome to the YouTube video. This is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to lay it down for you real quick. If you want to, go ahead and screenshot it or whatever. This is the lay down, and then I'm going to talk about it. Boot camp, right? And then leave, and then SOI. After that, you go to your division, either East or West Coast. After that, you go to your unit. This is explaining the unit. After that, you get your company, and then after that, in between there somewhere, we talk about, different designations, 0311, 21, 31, 41, 51, 69. So thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned to listen to me ramble. Appreciate the views. Talk to you guys after it's over or whatever. What's going on, potential recruits and boots and team leaders and squad leaders and everybody in between. So a little background on myself. I did 4 years with 3-8. I was 0311, and I just wanted to share with you a video on like the breakdown of the pipeline of 03 Marines or Infantry Marines. I guess to start off, the way that Infantry Marines usually look at things, and I'm not speaking for everybody, we all are different and have our own opinions and all that, and I'm not even a Marine anymore. Some people say that once a Marine, always a Marine, but I don't know, man. I think that's more or less like a mindset thing. That's not, I don't do that job. They don't pay me anymore. So am I that? I would say no, but it is what it is. To each their own, whatever. Anyway, so whenever you're looking at being an 03, I think it's important to ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I getting myself into? And what's going to be asked of me to be done? Nothing against the guys that I was with, but there's always a top 10%, and then there's always like the body or the 80%, and then there's always a bottom 10%, and you got to figure out where you're going to be on that. You know what I mean? Like you got to ask yourself, what am I going to be doing? And just for you motivators out there, the mission of the Marine Corps rifleman is to locate, close with, and destroy the enemy by fire and maneuver, or repel the enemy's assault by fire in close combat. So that's what you're going to be doing. If you're not cool with that, then maybe you should find something else to do. I guess that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, getting into the video, if you decide, hey, I'm going to be an 03, I'm going to be a trigger puller, I'm going to be a war fighter, I'm going to go hook and jab with the enemy and stack bodies or whatever, there's going to be 2 places for you to go initially. Both of them are boot camps, and I got a cheat sheet right here. I wrote it down because the old memory is not the best. Also, I'm not an expert. I did 4 years with the Marine Corps. I got out. I'm about to finish my bachelor's degree. They paid for it. That's awesome. And I'm going to go back in. Right now, I'm planning to go back in as a warrant officer pilot, so to fly helicopters. Anyway, back to the video. I'm not a expert, I guess is what I'm getting at. Just because I say this in this video doesn't mean that it's true. Do your own research, obviously, figure out, fact check, whatever. If there's anybody that even watches this video, I doubt it. So anyway, you decide, okay, I'm not a felon, and I have a high school diploma, and I'm going to go to boot camp, and I'm going to be a Marine, right? More importantly, I'm going to be an 03 Marine, so I'm going to be that cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so you're like, okay, I'm gonna go be a trigger puller. There's 2 places you can go. There is boot camp on the West Coast, and there's boot camp on the East Coast. As far as I know, these are the only boot camps that exist. So if you're on the east side of the Mississippi, you're gonna go to East Coast. If you're on the west side of Mississippi, you're gonna go to West Coast. If you don't like where you're going, then establish residence on the other side of the Mississippi, and then go to whatever boot camp you want. So boot camp on the East Coast is obviously Parris Island. That's the one that everybody is knows of, I guess, or that talks about, whatever. So Parris Island, San Fleas, and then you got West Coast, which is San Diego. Don't know much about those people over there because I didn't go there. So San Diego, that's in California, and that's where you go to boot camp, right? So you go to boot camp. Boot camp's like 3 weeks. No, I'm sorry. 3 months long. So you go through phases in boot camp. There's first phase, and it's whatever. It's the horrible one. And then the second phase is like the learning phase. And then the third phase is the polishing phase. You go shoot guns, you qualify. And If you want to learn how to qualify as an expert, watch my shooting videos. I teach the same way that the Marine Corps teaches: sight alignment, sight picture, trigger control. That's it. You know, I break it down super simple because I'm used to teaching Marines more or less, and little is more or less is more, and you know, you grasp on what you can. So if I'm going too fast for you, I'm sorry. If you want any videos specifically on these individual topics, you know, then leave a comment down below. Anyway, so you go to boot camp, East or West Coast, Paris Island or San Diego. After boot camp, they're gonna say, okay, you guys are Marines now, high five. Not really, they're not gonna high five you, but they're gonna be like, okay, so now you're gonna go on leave for 10 days, you're gonna decompress, and then you're gonna go to infantry school. Some people go on recruiting duty in between there. I don't know how that works, again, because I didn't do it. So ask your recruiter about recruiting duty or whatever. So, you know, you go on leave for 10 days, maybe you go on recruiting duty for 5 days. So you get 15 days at home. 5 of those days you have to be with your recruiter for like working hours or whatever. I don't know, ask your recruiter. Anyway, so after recruiting duty or your leave after boot camp, then you go to infantry school. And this is where Marines or learn how to be riflemen or whatever. So this is gonna be basic infantry tactics, how to dig fighting holes, how to use the guns that you're gonna use, where you learn basic stuff, right? So I was an 0311. I don't know about the machine gunners. I'm pretty sure that there's a section in there in School of Infantry where, you know, halfway through, machine gunners and riflemen and mortarmen, everybody does the same shit, right? So then after about halfway, or there's a line in there somewhere where machine gunners go do machine gun stuff, and then mortarmens go do mortarman stuff, and 0311s go do 0311 stuff, and everybody kind of learns their individual craft. And I guess I'll get into this now. As infantry Marines, there's different designations for different jobs. There's 0311, which is rifleman. There's 0321, which is recon. There's 0331, which is machine gunner. There's 0341, which is mortarman. There's 0351, which is assaultman. I don't know if those are still around anymore. We had an assaultman with us that I deployed with. I'll throw a picture up maybe of him if I could find one. Me and him on our first deployment, we were pretty tight. But I don't think that they do those anymore. I don't know. He was telling me that they were kind of disbanding their, like, they were dropping their cutting scores. That's a whole other thing to get into, but it's like your promotion allocation or whatever. And so I don't know if those are around anymore. You have to ask your recruiter. Anyway, so then there's 0369, which is like a staff sergeant or a gunny or something. That it's just means that you're in charge of people. So in between those 0311, 21, 31, 41, 51, 69, there are ways that you can advance your career in further into infantry. So you can go be a scout sniper, which I believe is 17. You can go be you can be a recon, but there's different designations for recon. Like you can be qualified to do diving, and then your MOS changes a little bit, and then you can be qualified to jump, I believe, and then your MOS changes a little bit, and then if you have both of those together, your MOS changes a little bit more. So like there's different, for what you are and what you're qualified for. It's just it's an algorithmic system that classifies you, and you can tell somebody I'm this, and they know exactly what you're capable of and what you're designed to do. Taking all this in, you are just a number. Like it's the truth. You are a number, and you're a designed piece of the puzzle, and that's it. You know what I mean? So don't get it twisted, and don't think that it's personal or anything when you're talking about doing the things that you're going to be doing inside of this community. You're a pawn to a game. You know what I mean? So like, don't think about that. If that bothers you, then you know you're probably not gonna be cool with some of the stuff you're gonna have to do. So just think about that for a minute. So we'll go back over it again. Boot camp, San Diego, Paris Island, leave recruiting duty. You come back 10-15 days, you go to SOI. You do the first half with everybody, you split off, you do your designated thing depending on what you signed up to do, or if you're open contract, good luck. So after SOI is done, there is a quick graduation. I don't think, for me, we graduated. Some people's parents came an hour later. We got graduated, everybody like shook hands and they were like, oh yeah, whatever. And then we got on a bus and then we went to our unit. For me, I went to 2nd Marine Division, which was on Lejeune, East Coast. And some of the guys actually got sent to 1st Marine Division, which was West Coast, and that's Camp Pendleton, I believe. So just to wrap your noggin around this, for infantry, this is infantry guys only, I believe, and this is just the numbers I looked up. For 2nd Marine Division, which is Lejeune, there's 20,000 infantry Marines. I guess. I don't know. This is what the computer tells me. For 1st Marine Division, infantry Marines on the West Coast, there's a little over 20,000. I think I wrote down 25,000, but my handwriting's a little messed up. So we'll say 25,000 for West Coast. So that's a lot of different people, man. Like I knew people that I graduated with, but they were like enveloped in a bunch of like a big population of people. So I remember when I first dropped to the fleet, or when I first got put in my unit, I knew this guy, and he was a pretty good friend with mine throughout SOI. He got put in a different company than me, and I remember this is a couple years ago, so it might be different then. But whenever we dropped to the fleet, we had to fight each other. We had to crawl over like rocks, and like we went on this death run where all our people that were in charge of us were pretty much, they were drinking, I guess you could say, and they ran us until everybody threw up, and even some of them were throwing up, and they were just like having the best time ever, and we were just scared to death, but whatever. Anyway, later on, anyway, so I remember sneaking out. I would sneak out at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, making sure the duty wouldn't see me, to go see my friend, because he was the only person that I knew, and I technically wasn't allowed to see him because our unit wanted us to stay with our unit. And I'm not outing anybody, I ain't no snitch, so just saying. Anyway, I remember having to sneak out. Like, that was rough, man. It was a rough time. And I'm sure that it's softer now because there's not like an active war going on. When we dropped, we caught the tail end of Afghanistan, so we were still like actively deploying, doing combat deployments. So like everything, they had a small amount of time. They had 6 months, I think, from when I dropped to when I first deployed, to set our minds ready to like go and do it. So whatever. Anyway, so you drop to your unit right after SOI. There's 20,000 Marines on 2nd Marine Division. There's 25,000 Marines on 1st Marine Division. Within 2nd Marine Division, there are 2nd, 8th, 6th, 8th, and 10th Marines. So just say 4. There might be more, there might be less. In times of conflict, there's more. In times that we're just chilling, there's less. I personally dropped to 3-8, which would mean 2nd Marine Division, Lejeune, 8th Marines, which is one of the 4. And then the 3 is actually 3rd Battalion of the 8th Marines. So for every 2nd, 6th, 8th, and 10th Marines, there are battalions attached to those numbers. There's usually 3 of them. So we're talking about 20,000 people. So 5,000 in, just example, 5,000 in 2nd, 6th, 8th, and 10th. So whenever you break that down even further, it's 2nd Marines Division, Lejeune, 8th Marines, one of the 4, and then 3rd Battalion was the 3rd Battalion of 8th Marines. So that's roughly 1,200 dudes out of 8th Marines, which was divided into a section. I know this is probably getting stupid for you. I'm sorry. This is just how the Marine Corps does things, I guess. So you get your unit, right? 1st or 2nd Marine Division, so East or West Coast. Let's just say that you get 2nd Marine Division on Lejeune. Let's say that you get 8th Marines, which is the Marine Regiment or whatever. Say you get 3rd Battalion of the 8th Marines. Within 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines, there's 4 companies. A company is, I would say, about 400 people, okay? So you got weapons, which is all of the assault men, all of the odds and ends guys. I don't even know who else. Snipers would probably be with them. Whoever else, right? I don't know, because I wasn't one of them again. There's Kilo, India, and Lima. So those are your rifleman companies. And then there's headquarters. Headquarters is like administrative unit, and they're like whatever. I wasn't one of those, so I don't know. But usually, from what I remember, is the people that sucked like really bad went to headquarters. Like there was a couple people that like said, oh, I'm being hazed, or oh, you know, whatever. They were like, good, go over there and sit in the corner. And that's what headquarters was. So they pretty much took him out of the game. They put him on the bench, and that's what headquarters was. Again, I'm not hating. I have nothing against headquarters. This is just what I remember and how I saw it happen. So if you're a headquarters guy, or if you are a headquarters officer, my bad, bro. I don't mean anything by it, but that's what happened, all right? So anyway, I was in Kilo Company. Within Kilo Company, there was like 4 platoons, let's just say. I don't remember exactly, but there's 4 platoons. Within each platoon, there's like 50 people. Within each platoon, there's like 4 squads. Within a squad, there is a squad leader, 3 team leaders, and with every team leader, there's 3 other guys. So I know this is a lot of information, probably not doing the best about explaining it, but anyway, if you want better, more in-depth stuff, comment on the video. And I'll see you in the next one. And thank you for watching the video. So again, boot camp, leave, right? SOI, unit, battalion inside of a unit, company, and then after that, you know, you're pretty much, you figured out from there. But that's the laydown. That's the insight. If you want an extra video on designations, if you want an extra video on what I think about whatever, or just leave it in the comments. I'm not good at making videos. I do these sporadically on the fly. So, you know, thanks for watching. This is my YouTube channel. I'm about to upload this video.